Welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you guys here with me tonight. And it is a little bit past 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And I'm here on the Sharpe Club with three people that I am so happy to talk about and about a very interesting topic. That topic being the idea of music and art affecting our culture, music and art affecting our politics. So if I could, I want to bring in an artist, a rapper, the man himself, the Real Young Swagg. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you.
Of course. Absolutely. And also an activist and artist and man who cares about wellness. Cozy Wellness is what he does. The man himself, Cozy 19. How are you, sir?
Good. Doing well.
Excellent. And our returning champion, woman who was here killing it on her own for years, but has left me because she's too cool for me now. I am so happy I've guilted her into coming back in. She didn't want to come back in. I then cried. I was on my knees. I was whining like a little baby. And then she finally said, fine, Larry, stop whining. I will show up. And she has indeed, the one, the only, Olivia Rondeau. How are you?
Thank you, Larry. And, I feel like this is my Good Samaritan act of the holiday season. So I always try to give back to the community. I'm very charitable. So I'm happy to be here.
There we go. Give it back to the people. I believe you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But the point I want to bring up, and I think it is an important point, and that is every one of us here are creators in different ways. Some of us more activist-based, some of us more music-based, some more writing, but all different types. We create art in some way, shape, or form. And I think we're all trying to make a difference or affect people in some way, right?
Yeah, 100%.
The issue is this the way to do it? Now, I'm going to go back to the 90s, right? I'm going to date myself a bit. I'm going to go back to the 90s when rap was considered crazy or weird, when NWA was saying F the police and 2 Live Crew was out in Florida saying all the horrible stuff about women. And they were saying, this is terrible. This is bad. We got to stop it. But I think it was affecting the culture in many ways. I think it was affecting the youth and changing how they thought about a lot of things. I don't know. Am I off? Haven't we moved to that again now? Swagg, am I off? Tell me.
No, not at all, man. Like, my whole life story is based off of like what media has done to like molding who I was. You know what I mean? The kid I used to be growing up was molded off of what I consumed for media. Like when it came to like movies, music, TV shows, I watched all the rappers coming up. I saw all the half-naked women in the music videos, all the cars and the money. So I really wanted that type of lifestyle, which led me straight to drugs, like at such a young age, because I thought that was cool. Really, I thought like maybe I would sell drugs or something. But what happened is I did drugs, and
that means you also sold drugs because you had to make money to get the drugs.
Oh man, I was
sold them anyway.
I tried my best. I was a mess out there.
I understand completely. So it did change how you think. Now the question I'll ask you is, being in that world and hearing that, did it change how you think about culture? Did it change how you thought?
Not until now. Like I didn't grow for years. You know what I mean? It's been years now since I've been clean. And even in the beginning of getting clean, I didn't really understand. And I still was consuming this type of music and I was still hanging out with the same type of people and doing the same things, but I wasn't getting high and stuff. But I was on my way in other words, you know what I mean? I was on my way there. It kept me thinking that certain things were cool, like having certain material things would make me cooler for other people to see me with them. I really cared what other people thought of me. There's like a lot of insecurity and fear from what I thought I needed to impress people just from what I watched on the TV. You know what I mean? Stuff.
Okay.
That's what's going to make me cool. I don't got it. You know what I mean? So I was technically not cool in my eyes. It definitely influenced what I believed, you know?
Let me go to Cozy though. Cozy, you have a different story than that, right?
Yeah, I have multiple stories, but depending on where you want to start, you know.
So give me one of them.
Well, I don't know where to start, but since I want to stay on topic, right, with the culture, because that's an interesting thing. Yes, definitely culture affects politics. It affects everything, right? It affects how we move. So like music is a big thing, like you said. So I think that the government tries to control all that, right? It's through the labels, government and labels. If you talk back about the 90s, a lot of gangster rap was coming out, the crack cocaine, all of that stuff. I think that the government was pushing that. That agenda, the labels were banking off of that, and they were probably told.
Let me touch that for a second, Go. Let me touch that. I remember one of the best non-gangster rappers was MC Hammer, right? Back in the 90s, right? He was one of the best non-gangster rappers, right? He was more of a dance rapper. I'm a cool guy rapper. I'm a fashion rapper. He was that kind. He wasn't really a gangster rapper.
He wasn't really a rapper,
right.
Well,
he kind of was, yes.
Yeah.
Correct, yes. He's more of an entertainer. I agree. He was more. Yeah. And I feel like the labels then were purposely pushing people like him out. Like they didn't want the entertainer.
They don't want to push that. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
They wanted the gangster. They wanted that person, which was producing a certain model that America saw a black man as, right? They were producing that on purpose, and they didn't want the cool soul singer. They didn't want the entertainer. They wanted everybody to be Ice Cube. Don't get me wrong, I love Ice Cube. But I'm just saying, they wanted everybody to look like Ice Cube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Coach, keep going.
So this is what I'm saying is that what I'm thinking is happening is at that time they were pushing the drugs because the government was, bringing in the drugs, right, from the border, bringing them in, and Colombia, Mexico, all of that stuff that was happening, and then they wanted to promote it. So they need buyers, right? They need a whole I can't think of the word right now. They need a market, right? So they pumped it in the music. Now you see white kids, suburban white kids rapping, acting tough, acting like little gangsters.
Talking about it
and talking tough and trying to act like they're black or Hispanic, and they're not. They're white boys, and all of a sudden now everybody's trying to sell drugs. Everybody's trying to be hard. And you hear the music. It's very, angry. It was a very angry time, depending on what part of the 90s, And I saw that, and I said, wow, like it made sense to me when I got older. I said, you know what? Looking back, I said they were purposely doing this to create, money for the prisons too. Like they started arresting people for little offenses,
even addicts,
industrial complex,
pot smokers, and anything above that. People were selling crack, and they made tons of money. So I think that they did this on purpose, for greed and to control the narrative, because they don't want people. Because if you look at there was parts of the 80s and early 90s where you actually started seeing creative rap, right? Rap that was like positive.
Whoa.
Will Smith,
awake rap.
Will Smith was doing it. He was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right?
Yeah, De La Soul
Substance.
and Del the Funky Homo Sapien, things like that. West Coast. You know what I mean? There was a lot of positive stuff. Tribe Called Quest, but then they pushed the gangster rap.
That's good. Olivia, tell us how we're wrong.
How are you guys wrong? I mean,
I'm kidding. Just say what you feel. I'm sorry. I'm just teasing you.
I was gonna come up with something. I was gonna pull something on my butt, honestly. But so I guess I'm kind of from a different generation than y'all. Not to call y'all old. Well, to call Larry old, yes.
I'm old, dude.
Larry's freaking old, but I think I'm a little bit unique in that my taste in music is like I probably listen to the same stuff growing up that you did, Larry, because I have like my parents' music taste. They grew up in like the 60s and 70s, so that's kind of where I'm at. And I really can't stand modern music, and I hate to sound like one of those people that's like, oh, I was born in the wrong generation, because that's lame, that's cringy, no one cares. I'm not special or unique for liking like older music, but
that's all I listen to is 60s, 70s. I skipped over the 80s, and I don't listen to any hip hop, so I get it.
That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting because I tend to listen to slightly older hip hop, and in terms of newer hip hop, as in from like the last 15 years, I'm a big like Kanye fan, but that's more of like on the creative side. He's not rapping about gangbanging and stuff like that. Yeah. So I am definitely not considered an artist. I think I am a creative, but I don't create music or anything like that. So I might I guess have less of a ground to stand on when critiquing art, but I have my opinions.
So hold on. Joe wants to know, Olivia, are you a believer?
I am not a believer. When Justin Bieber came out, when I was probably 10 years ago. I don't know. I think I was in I don't want to say how old I am, but I was really young. And even then I was like, this is pretty corny. This is corny.
He was very pretty, wasn't he? He was very pretty.
He was.
Yeah.
When my daughter was very young, she was like 7, 8, 9, like that. She was a believer. Like around 9, 10, she was a believer. Now she's like, this guy's crazy. I don't like this guy at all. But
all my friends were, and even at that time, I was like, you guys are sick. But yeah, I think I've always been kind of an older soul because I'm I wear like band t-shirts all the time, and I was flying back from LA like a couple of weeks ago, and I got on with, I think it was a Led Zeppelin shirt, and like the older black male flight attendant was like, you really listen to that, or you're just wearing the shirt? And I was offended, but then I went home and I saw this video that I think a teacher or some type of educator took in a high school where she was going up to students and challenging them, can you name a song by the artist on your shirt? Half of them couldn't. Half of them really couldn't. So yeah. I kind of get it now.
Look at that. I love that. Well, Mike Voss is watching. Mike Voss is often on my Thursday show, the Sharpe Crew. He says the post-92 commercialization of rap only happened after gangster rap, which is the only rap today, was created, which destroyed the black culture. Now,
I think it destroyed all culture for like all different, all of us. Personally, like I'm just a regular white kid who lives in like the sticks in Maine, right? So, but I still watch TV and I watch these rappers, and I wanted to be like them, and to be like them, I dressed like them. To be like them, I walked and talked and acted like them. And yeah, some people, you know what I mean? Like the kids who wore button-ups to school every day and dressed real nice with their belts and tucked in shirts, they looked at me weird and stuff like that. But that's just who I felt I was inside. But that led me to hanging out with those same kids that dressed, walked, and talked and acted the same way I did, which led me to prison. And I walked and talked and acted with those same kids in there. And it just led me to feeling like that's who I was. So I just kept walking in that direction, and it was just destructive to my life.
So let me move on. You bring up an amazing point. If you think, I mean, Mike says Detroit black culture, which I agree, but you're going even further. Does that mean now today that the battle that you're hearing and government trying to stop it is TikTok doing that now? Is the 14-year-old white teenager who's in trouble with herself and doesn't know who she is and is deciding that she's going to do a TikTok video about, I don't know, whatever crazy stuff she decides because she saw her friend said, and now it goes all over TikTok. Are we all becoming the 17-year-old suburban? We were becoming the 17-year-old young black urban teen. Are we now becoming the 17-year-old young suburban white girl?
I've seen it. I've seen grown men acting weird. I've seen grown men acting some weird ways nowadays. You know what I mean? I've seen some grown men acting some weird ways nowadays. But I also, who am I? I'm a biased opinion when it comes to TikTok. I hate TikTok. I see the only platform I do not download, touch, or look at. I don't really do much.
The Chinese are mad at you right now. You just got on their list.
They hate me. I'm a Facebook and TikTok only, and if I didn't have to touch those platforms, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? But I have to promote my music. You know what I mean?
Olivia, you're a child. Why don't you tell us how we feel?
Thank you, Larry.
Youngin.
Youngin.
I was born after the year 2000. So yes.
Dang, you are a youngin.
Yes. I'm glad, Larry, I'm glad you brought up how it's impacting like teen girls today, because I mean, we've seen the effects of the gangster rap over the last few decades. I think now with a lot of the female rappers that are out, it's pushing this crazy narrative that it's so cool to act all, I hate to say it, act all ghetto and promiscuous and ruin your life for some dude, ruin your life for some trapper. And it's very promoted and out there in the media. And like, there's just too many female rappers to really count that are pushing that out, because it's almost all of them. I love true hip hop. I just saw Lauryn Hill on the Fuji show like 2 weeks ago, and she's a real female rapper who don't rap about that kind of stuff, and she raps about real issues and, you know, positive uplifting things usually. So
I like
that's not me hating on women, but what the industry and the labels put out is such a negative opinion of women, especially Black women.
It's so bad.
A lot of, and it's not like Cameron said, it's not just affecting like the people in the hood. It's affecting like suburban white people who are like, now they want to be baby mamas, baby daddies, gangsters, trappers, all this kind of stuff. But of course it does start within the Black community, because that's the majority of the music that the labels are putting out to represent us. So when I see statistics like teen parenting and teen moms and teen pregnancies going down, I'm very worried that that's actually going to reverse itself with the current culture that's being putting out there, because it just seems like all the female rap artists, first of all, they're super young, they're super sexualized. Like people were talking about the Cash Me Outside girl. There was a countdown for her to turn 18 and start her OnlyFans.
That's
that was
crazy,
so
right?
sick. That was
the
so
world
sick.
is like celebrating that as like that's a cool thing. That's so gross.
And she's a white girl. She got famous for hating her mom on Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
it's really
what?
nuts.
Yes.
But the majority of her fans seem to be targeted at least at like urban youth and urban teens. So a lot of people are going to follow in her footsteps, thinking that they could do the same thing that she did.
Were you following that closely, Olivia? I remember the rumor. I don't know if it's true. The rumor was she made $1 million in the first 24 hours. Do you know if that was real or rumor?
She posted the receipts. I can't say if she fabricated them, but she said she made $16 million in a month. And then gradually from there it went down, but she's still making 6 figures per month on OnlyFans, and she's younger than me. I think she turned 18 maybe like 2 years ago.
That's so sad.
Unbelievable, man.
I need me an OnlyFans.
Right?
I got
Get on there.
I got drop trial on OnlyFans, make some cash. What am I doing?
But that's the messaging pointed to us, and especially as a woman who's online. Men feel very comfortable being like OnlyFans and like very comfortable saying crazy things to me in the DMs when I've never posted anything to allude to that. And a lot of girls get the same questions: post this, post that, post these type of pictures. OnlyFans one, and it just creates this culture where I mean, girls don't value themselves, so men in turn don't value them. So it's kind of like
100%,
you might as well just devalue yourself at that point.
Wow.
It's a circle. It creates a circle. It's bad.
Right.
Scott says it got my little sister.
That's bad.
I think that's already happening.
Damn.
Cozy, look, I know you're trying to achieve something bigger, better with what you're doing. I know you are. Are you seeing it happen or no? Are you beating your head against the wall?
Seeing what happened exactly? Like,
are you seeing your art make things better? Is it getting better? Olivia is basically telling us that the world's about to end. Right, she's like, it's over.
I'm always like that, though. So
it's over.
No, honestly, I have hope, and the reason
you have hope. Okay, good.
No, absolutely. Because when I started talking about, let's say, vaccines, for instance, right? That was my thing. And around 2009, when I really started, talking about it, not too many people were talking about it. There's a very small handful of people.
You were crazy then.
People thought I was out of my mind.
It was a scary topic too. If you were trying to build a platform, it was a scary topic.
Absolutely.
That guy who is willing, you're brave.
So you had to walk like softly on it, right? And then slowly throughout the years, growing and growing and growing, like my account exploded to like 36,000 followers, right? Eventually. And I'm like, wow, look where so that's a gauge for me. It's like people want this message. People want to hear this information. And then before the pandemic happened, right before, we were protesting this stuff. As it happened, I went out to Union Square. It was like probably the first time I publicly spoke. I just got up and started talking, warning people like, hey, this is going to get really bad. They're going to force these vaccines on you. And there was like 3 or 4 people in the crowd, right? The following week, there was 10 people in the crowd. The following week, I kept going every week, 20 people, 30 people. It kept growing and growing to the point where we were in Times Square at one point with like something like 15,000 people.
That's beautiful.
At one time at City Hall, New York, we had 25,000 people. So to me,
hold on. New York City, you had that.
New York City.
That's beautiful. That's tough out there. That's tough in that city.
And when people say, "Oh, New Yorkers," but guess what? Like I say it, we are the real New Yorkers that will stand up and talk about it and push back. I believe that we were the ones who literally stopped these mandates because we were the ones fighting, because other states that had more relaxed stuff, they weren't fighting anybody. They were just like, our government's cool. The more red states or the more libertarian, there's not really libertarian, but leaning states, they didn't really have to fight like us, but we fought hard. We had sit-ins. We were told, some of us, refused to, to leave the restaurants when they were telling you can't eat here unless you have, people got arrested. We pushed back. So I think that's inspiring. And yes, we are making changes.
Speaking of that, I'm talking to my audience for a second. If you like what we're talking about, then support. Click that like button right now. If you don't click the like button right now, that means you hate me. So please click the like button. Otherwise, that's what you hate all of us. You literally hate us all.
Click the like button, please, dog.
And also, please follow these 3 people who are giving us some time this lovely day. Please do that if you would. On Twitter, please follow the lovely and talented Rhonda. You can see her. I'm sorry, Rondeau, Olivia Rondeau. If you could please follow her right there. All her connections are right there in the description on YouTube and on Facebook. And on Instagram, you can follow the Real Young Swagg and Cozy's Wellness. Please, if you would follow all 3 of them, it does matter. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet this. Right? Retweet it.
Yeah, do that.
Look at this. Retweet it right now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Retweet it. It's important.
Share with your friends.
I would appreciate it. Share with your friends. He's right.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Share with your friends. It'd be amazing. So I want to move to what my worries, the next piece that you just talked about, Cozy, which is now if I'm an artist and I'm scared of what you just said. So now I'm scared. I don't want to say the thing that I feel because I'm scared now. So if I'm doing that, right, now is my biggest issue because one of my things, and I remember I was at a Freedom Fest last year and I was on a panel, and one of the people on the panel was talking about the idea of, she noticed that many artists were starting to self-censor, right? We're trying to self-censor and
100%.
say things, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, that breaks my heart. Art is supposed to be what moves us. It's supposed to be the thing that pushes against the establishment and makes the positive change. And if artists are self-censoring, we're in trouble, right? That's I don't want to happen at all, right? I want to make sure the artists are not self-censoring. And I often give an example of this that was scary. My daughter was doing, my daughter was trying to put, my daughter is also an artist. She's a cartoonist. And she's trying to put out some stuff for my other daughter. Olivia is one of my daughters. So my other daughter. Yeah. So yes, Olivia is many people's daughters, mine included. Yeah. So in any she's trying to put some stuff out to a group of executives. And there's like 10, 20, 30 people doing it. Every one of them had main characters that were either gay or trans or in some way part of the gender or sexual minority community. Yeah. Every one of them. Yeah. Now, I'm not against that at all. Please, of course. But
let live, whatever.
All 25 of those kids thought that? No. They purposely did it so they know. They thought that's what the executives wanted. Now, look, I'm sure there are kids who thought that. So maybe 5 out of 25 had that. Or even 10 out of 25 had that. Yeah. Half of them have someone who's either gay or trans. Fine. I don't care. Yep. It's fine. All of them did?
That's wild.
That's not because all of those kids were that or thought that. It's because all of those kids thought, this is how I get accepted.
That's how they'd win. That's how they'd get the pick. 100%.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's what they thought. So that is my biggest worry. Self-censorship on my own creativity to move forward, and self-censorship now in what I put out to be produced in the mainstream that most people get. Am I off on this? Somebody help me out.
You're homophobic.
No, you're right on point. That's what's happening.
You're homophobic, Larry. I'm sorry.
I totally experience it in my day-to-day.
I'm a bigot, Olivia. Hold on. Olivia's calling me bigot. Go ahead. Tell me what a bigot is.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that jab in there. Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, like, when I quit my job and I went full-time on music, I wasn't like, I was just barely getting by. You know what I mean? That was like 4 years ago. I was just barely getting my bills paid. I was making exactly as much money as I was as a valet parking cars at a hotel, which was my old job. And and this is 2020, I quit my job. All right. They started making me wear masks all day at work. And I was the overnight valet. I didn't even see anybody. I was like, no, I don't wear a mask. I'm not playing with the vaccines. None of that. I'm going to quit. My music makes me money. I'm going to trust it. So I left, and I wanted to tell the people how I felt about this stuff, the vaccines. I wanted to tell people how I feel technically about like certain things, like even what you say with like sexual identity and stuff like that. But like, it's my livelihood. If I lose it, I don't pay for my house. My wife has to go back to work. I got to work 2 incomes. It's the only way we'll make it, you know? So it was very scary. She's banned. Like if you send her a friend request, it'll say, "Are you sure you want to follow this person?" She posts misinformation.
It's
She's
so
my
sick. This is so crazy how they
yeah.
systematically did this.
You probably get that too.
All the time. They tell me
Yep.
before I'm commenting. I can't even say the word disgusting.
What
Sometimes
the
I'll go to Hoko's page and I say, you know, you're disgusting. Like I'll say something and it says, "Are you sure you want to write this word?" People who write this word get censored or deleted. I'm like, so now I'm starting to almost self-censor because I'm like, okay, I can't use that word, so let me use a better word. And then I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, F this, and I'll just say the word anyway. I'm like, just do it.
Just take that risk.
Are you sure you want to follow
The bad part
this
about
person?
that is, it's not actually working, right?
Yeah,
like you
it's
hear it all the
working.
time.
It is working.
It's
they're conditioning us. They're conditioning us to don't say that. It's mean. It's evil. It's mean. Don't be mean. Don't be mean.
Don't be mean to people.
But let me be clear. In a way, it's not working. What I mean by that is people like us still exist.
Yes.
And now we keep going even stronger. We create stronger bonds. And something else, we find ways around it. Like we don't talk, we don't say certain words on YouTube. We say someone's going to become unalive.
Yeah.
We say that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what that means.
Yeah.
But we can't say the word, right? So we find the word, right? So we still wind up doing it. And they think they're stopping us. What they're doing is they're drawing us together.
Tyranny
they're
never
actually
wins.
pushing us closer to each other, which is true. That's
Tyranny
the way to look
wins.
at it.
Yeah, tyranny never wins. When you suppress the human spirit, when you tell somebody you cannot say this and you try to shove a hand down their mouth, there's gonna be resistance, there's gonna be blowback. Okay. What they're creating right now is more passionate people, more people that are becoming bolder, more creative,
more lions,
more powerful.
More lions out here.
Exactly. This woke me up. This woke me up back
100%.
in 2009.
I was dead asleep, dude. Dead asleep.
To me, it started. I'll tell you, in 2009, I was working at a nursing home, right? And they told me we're going to mandate the H1N1 shot, right? I didn't think about vaccines before that. The minute they told me I'm going to force you to do this or else you can't work here, I started reading about it. Let me find out what this is. Once I found out, they created a monster. I became a beast. I said, you know what? F this. I'm not doing. I started educating everybody in the whole building, giving out flyers.
That's my wife right there, dude. She went nuts.
And then
the whole
department said, we're not doing this. So then they had the backlash. So I kept going, and now they created all these monsters. You're a monster. You're a monster. You're a monster. We're all pushing back.
Oh,
and we're going to defeat them. We're going to defeat them.
Amen,
they can't get away with this.
They can't. And there's so many more of us, no matter what, than there is in them. And I love that simple, basic phrase. And like, it really, like, I was dead asleep. I was sitting on my couch, doing nothing and letting the world go by. All right. And accepting that I was eating plastic food and just wasting away and consuming crap media, like Keep Up with the Kardashians. Like, what are you talking about? Then I woke up, I stopped watching Marvel movies, and I went outside and I started smelling the
went outside?
Yeah, dude. I got outside my house. I started listening to the opposite. I was like, man, I'm not going to do that anymore. I stopped drinking Mountain Dew. I drank water for the first time in my life at like 26. You know what I mean? Like, I changed everything. I was like, I'm not doing the poison anymore. I'm not doing it. And my life's been so cool since, dude.
So I have another question.
I'm happy. Yeah, I just want to say I'm happy to hear
Thank
stories
you,
like this, man. When I hear these, this is what gives
it's
us hope.
working because it saves me, dude. Like, I was okay, but I was dying, dude. I was gonna get cancer from eating poison food and putting sunscreen lotion on me every day. You know what I mean? Like, just following the sheep to the slaughter, dude, all the way, bro.
No vitamin D for you.
Yeah, dude, I'm all good. Yeah, literally, bro.
So I want to grab it from Sam. Sam says, where are all the Gen Z artists, or is our culture dead? And this is the part that I want to bring up. I'm glad he brought this up because I feel like the Gen Z artists are all like YouTubers and Twitch streamers, right? When you talk about you coming up, Swag, you were talking about, right? When I came up as a kid, living in the South Bronx, right by Yankee Stadium. So all my friends wanted to be Yankees. All wanted to be baseball players. I was going to be a baseball player. I was going to take the Yankees to the World Series. By the way, I did. By the way, I did not. But that's what I was going to do when I was a kid, right? I was going to take the Yankees to the World Series. I was going to play second base, or I was going to play left field, and that's what I was going to do. I was take the Yankees. That was my thing. When we got older, to your point, Swag, a lot of people, they wanted to be a rapper, or they wanted to be a movie star, or something like that. Now all the kids want to be YouTubers or streamers
Everybody.
or something like that, right? They all want to be as cool as I am.
The
And they can't be
OnlyFans
as cool
group,
as me. They just can't. I mean,
no
Olivia
one's
keeps
ever
trying.
gonna be that cool. They can
No one's
try.
gonna be that cool. Can't be done. Anyway, all I'm saying is they all want to be that. So is that where all of our you're nodding your head, Olivia? Is that where all our Gen Z people are?
Yeah, I think your analysis is pretty correct. And of course, there's going to be, like you mentioned, there's going to be something like that for any generation. So people used to want to be NBA players and rappers. Right. Now it's like the streamers, the YouTube celebrities, Instagram celebrities. Hopefully not OnlyFans, but I know like that's out there.
Teenage girls, becoming a fad.
Teenage girls are being sold this lie.
I got a niece. I'm worried about her. She's growing up. That's all I think about. I'm like, she better just stay away from them people. But I hate seeing it because they start putting the makeup on them at 10 years old now, and they're dressing them very provocative at 10 years old now. And I'm like, bro, these are children. Where's the pony shirt? Where's the glitter pony shirt and the stained pants with the rubber boots? That's what a 9-year-old looked like when I was a kid. She had spit on her shirt. You know what I mean? Like now they're like showing their boobs. It's like, what the hell is wrong, dude?
And I'm even more concerned for Generation Alpha, so the one that comes after me, because all these like family vlog channels, it's like millennials doing this. It's like people who are 30, 40 plus now doing this, raising their kids in front of the camera to make a little coin on YouTube. And they're showing very intimate and very private moments of their kids' lives. I've seen some just horrendous family channels on TikTok and on YouTube where it's like, these kids are being forced to work, like similar to like the life of a child actress or a child star, forced to work and tap dance for the camera. And I think they're going to grow up even worse. I mean, I'm thinking of like all the Disney child stars, all the notorious ones like Britney Spears and Demi Lovato and people who turn to drugs and alcohol and have crazy lives. I think it's going to be even crazier because it's their own parents acting as their manager. Right. It's their own parents making them famous. And they obviously have no ability to consent to being that famous.
I like that you said that.
Are their world.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is they're obviously going to follow them. And I hate to even say this, and sorry for cutting in on you, Cozy. I noticed this in, you know what I mean? Like my niece, when I see, people in her family like pose for a picture, and she's a young girl, but she doesn't need to prop her hip up and put her hand on her hip and show her butt and like do the cute little face that every girl's doing on TikTok. She's 9, 10 years old. Let her just stand there and smile. Don't tell her, do the pose. Make sure you do the pose. Like get a good pic for Instagram. Like, no, leave her alone. Just let her be a 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl and just smile like all goofy.
Look, I have 2 other daughters besides Olivia. I have 2 other daughters. I have a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old. Yeah, and they're grown up in this, and I am, of course, worried about them. Of course, but here's what I've noticed. This is the thing and this is going to sound so cliche, but I don't care. I think it's right. You have a good father figure in their life.
Amen. My wife.
The odds are they don't fall into. I mean, they might still, but the odds are they don't. Like I'm involved way better in my kids' life. I'm involved. I'm not like a helicopter parent by any means. Not even close. But I am involved. Like I know what they're doing. Like. One thing
that's perfect.
I think I'm nuts. I did not in any way stop my daughters from having access to the internet. I didn't. Okay. And I thought there's no way I could stop them. If I somehow stop them, the friends are gonna show them the stuff anyway.
And then they'll do it worse. They'll do it in a worse manner. You know what I mean?
That's correct. Yeah. And they won't come to me.
Yes, right? To ask for help when they need it.
Yeah. I wanted them to come. So I remember this story. My oldest daughter. She was, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12. I forgot how old she was. And this is when it really hit me. She was watching a PewDiePie video. Now, PewDiePie isn't as popular now, but he was crazy popular, right?
Yes.
She's watching this video, and this is PewDiePie watching somebody else play a video game. Wow. And I, in my mind, I couldn't. I'm like, why are you watching some guy watch another guy play a video game? Like, it made no sense to me, right? But she said something to me that really connected. She said, Dad, I feel like I'm watching with him. And when she said that, I said, you will no longer have a surrogate dad. You will watch with me.
Yeah, that's cool.
I watch all of the videos with all my daughters. I watch Mr. Beast. I watch PewDiePie. I watch whatever they watch. I have a Roblox account. I have a Minecraft account.
That's how it's done. That's
Nice,
amazing.
man.
All of them.
Good job.
Oh, Larry, I
Yes.
wish you were my real dad.
That's how it happens.
I keep
because
trying.
no, because I totally relate to being the kid who was like I grew up with a dad and everything, thank God. I think that it would have been a lot worse if I didn't, but obviously no parent is perfect. And so when I think back to my childhood, I think I was parented, specifically fathered with a lot of shame, a lot of sheltering, and a lot of just like, don't bring that up. Like basically you're going to hell, like very like religious shaming and stuff like that.
That's tough.
And so it creates a sneaky kid. It created a sneaky teenager. It created kind of like a little bit of a teen delinquent for a while because I had nowhere to turn to. Like I wasn't allowed to date. And so of course, when I got my first secret boyfriend, shit gets crazy. I was stuck in an abusive relationship and basically couldn't tell my parents because I wasn't even supposed to be having a boyfriend in high school, you know, in the first place. And so similar things happen with the internet. You know, would regularly get my privacy. I felt like my privacy was violated. And I have mixed feelings about, you know, when children should be allowed to have like their own cell phone and stuff. I didn't have an iPhone until I was in high school. I would probably do the same thing with my own children. But even then, it created like sneaky behaviors and risky behaviors because I still wasn't allowed like privacy and things like that. So I love the way that you parented with just being like, what are you watching? And not saying don't watch that, being like, well, let me just take a look at it with you and see if we could bond over it. Because if I had that same type of parenting, I think I could have saved myself years of unnecessary risky situations that I put myself in. So I'm not saying my dad put me into those situations, but it just created just a not great, safe environment for me to get help from my parents.
Yes.
It's
stress
very
to my
hard.
daughters. I always say the same thing. I say, I made sure my daughters, when they were younger, had an Uber account and always had money in your pocket.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Never, ever think that you are stranded.
Yeah.
Ever. You are
You can get
never
home.
stranded.
Yeah.
No matter what. And I would tell my daughter, I would say, do not call your mother because your mother will scold you first and then solve the problem.
Yeah.
I will solve the problem first, then scold you.
Then we'll figure it out after. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
I tell both my daughters, remember something. There's only one person on the planet, the guy you're looking at right now, who will help you bury the body.
Yeah.
It's only
and then I'm
one
going to yell at you
on
for
the planet.
making it.
I will yell at you for having me dig that hole and get the lime. I will.
100%.
But I'm going to do that first. Then we'll be okay.
We'll figure it all out after. Pain in my ass.
Right. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah.
So, Cozy, I'm sorry. We talked to all of you. You had something to say. I apologize, brother.
No, it's all good, man. It's very hard to be a parent, you know, this time, you know. So I understand. I have two daughters, and it's you know, they're getting older now, 20 and 18. So it's totally different. But like, I still have that, you know, you want to make sure they're okay. But I've learned that to like back off. I was a little controlling when they were younger, but now I'm learning, you know, that it's better to just talk to them and just, you know what I mean? Just respect who they're trying to be. And that's it. And
absolutely.
You know, just speaking to them goes a long way, and being honest, like just straight up, like
Dan says that. Dan says, thanks, Larry. I have a daughter that tells me for hours about boring video game stories, but I listen so I can talk about the people she's interacting with.
Great.
Me too.
Good job, Dan.
Good
job.
That's beautiful, Dan.
Dan is right? I want to be part of my daughter's lives, so they want to share it with me without me having to go, what are you doing? Right? I don't want that. I want them to be able to have chats with me. I don't want them to be afraid to bring their boyfriends home to me. I don't want them to be afraid to tell me what they're doing in their life. I want them to be open and be able to say it and know that it's all right. We'll get over it, right? Whatever it is, we'll get over it.
I didn't even know that was like real. Like, I didn't even know that was real growing up. Like, my parents weren't bad. They weren't bad parents. They were just kind of living their life. You know what I mean? I get it now that I'm 31 years old, bro. I don't want to be bothered. I want to sit on my couch. I got my own land. I got animals. I want to be left alone. So
hang out with you.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to get more land. You can move up here. We're looking for a good community of good people. You know what I mean?
What kind of animals you got?
I only got chickens and cats right now, but we're looking into cows and goats and everything.
Man.
Yeah, I want to raise my own food. I want to do it exactly how my ancestors were. Like, that's how it's supposed to be done.
Everybody listening right now, right?
Yep.
It's either we do that. If we don't do that, we're going to wind up as the transhuman cyborgs they want us to be.
We're gonna be.
I don't think
you're right.
100%.
The social credit system is a real thing. Okay, the digital currency is right around the corner.
Yes,
it
is.
Gonna say, oh, you don't do this. We're shutting your bank off. You don't do that.
You can't buy stuff. Now you're broke.
You hurt his feelings. Shut it off. So where are we going to go?
So hold on. I want to touch this.
Yep.
Because this goes right back to Sam's question, which we kind of dodged around. I want to go back to this question because I think you're talking about, because the people who are going to say yes to that, Cozy, your exact point, are going to be when the social media influencers tell them it's okay.
Yep.
Right? When their guy or gal who they watch on the video says, don't worry, the digital currency is fine.
It's gonna be good. I love it.
Take it. I love it. I get paid in it, right?
Look at all my money.
What's gonna happen?
Yep.
Am I wrong? Coach, tell me.
No, you're absolutely right. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for leaders. So we must be the leaders, right? Everybody step up.
100%.
You're looking in the mirror, step up and say, okay, let's analyze the situation. Where are we heading? Let's be realistic with this.
Yep.
We are heading, you're going to be a cyborg. They already have, right? Elon Musk has
what is it? They just passed the trials for the, what is it? We're just talking about me and my wife.
Neuralink. There you
Neuralink,
go.
that's
Neuralink.
it. Yep.
This is where it's heading. So if we don't plan now, and I know it sucks. I'm a city guy. Like I grew up in the city. What do I know about farming? But we must learn. Or if you don't learn, hang out with people that know how to freaking do this shit.
100%, dude.
Start learning, because like what you're doing, right? This is the beginning steps, but we must. In order to survive, you better have animals. You better start growing stuff.
And you better know how to not only be able to produce and like store your like harvest of just like crops, you need to know how to cut down an animal. You need to know how to separate it, package it, and store it for long term. Absolutely. It's not just, I have a cow now. It's, I have a cow now. That's 4 huge freezers full of meat, man. I gotta hang it up on an engine block.
It's the ultimate form of magic, right? That you can put a seed into the ground, or grow an animal and produce food. We don't have to go into stores and stuff. So to me, it's like that, and that's how you
hold on. I gotta tell you something, Cozy. I literally still have adults, young adults, who literally still say, "Why do farming? Go to the store." Like they think like the food gets
just
magically
comes from there
in the store somehow. Like the store makes the food. They still believe they're like young adults.
I've been growing things since I was a kid. And I lived in Mass as a kid, but when I moved up to Maine, my grandfather's a farmer, and I was just a city kid. I wore the baggy clothes and stuff, and I always wanted to be like him. He was a stoner. He had the long hair. He was a hippie. He grew all his veggies, had guts and stuff, and so I started obviously growing weed as a young stoner and drug addict and stuff. But I still love my cannabis. Shout out 420 all the way. But I grew things, and that it is ultimate magic. It's like the most beautiful thing from God. Like this little tiny bean has like the ability to create brand new life and also feed generations after it, because not only it produces food, it produces
I want to get back. This is great stuff.
Yeah, bring us back. Bring us back.
It's the next show.
I'll get lost, bro.
This part here, though, because again, I want to go back to this. The influencers now, right? There's two parts that I'm worried about. Number one is certain establishment, whatever establishment you want to call it, decides that somebody is good. Like that guy, I forgot his name, but the guy who did the song Richmond,
North of Richmond, Oliver Anthony. Yeah.
Thank you, Oliver Anthony, right? All of a sudden, this song got little popular, and people say, that's my guy. And they want to throw money at him.
Now they like him,
Now, but then he doesn't say the right words. They go, "Oh, you didn't get it, right? We were going to give you lots of money if you said the right words. And you didn't say the right words. We got to take the money away now." But my point is, if he would have got it and been like, "Oh, so I could just sell out and make a lot of money?" Just sell out. Say 100%. The words we want you to say, and we'll keep giving you money. You'll have like 4 or 5 albums. You'll get
nationwide tours, nationwide radio, everything. You get everything.
The right words. Now, for every Anthony Oliver who doesn't say the right words, how many are?
Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Every single one of those mainstream artists that have signed one of them contracts is 100% owned by another man or company.
Yeah.
Independence is the only way. They throw it at you. This is the thing. So I've gotten offers from Colombia and different things too. I get emails all the time. I have millions. I look like just a regular guy. I live in a trailer in Maine, dude. But I have millions of streams all over the world. My music streams daily in 150 different countries. I'm everywhere, dude. And I'm just a kid. I'm a guy, dude. But so Oh, where's I going with that? Sorry, I got super
You don't
want
to sell out.
labels
You
owning
said, I don't
everybody.
want to sell out.
So
I
they
read that
will
already.
they throw like $250,000 at you, or even sometimes they'll throw 10 grand at you. It doesn't matter who you are. It's depending on what you're worth. If you have 1 million followers on YouTube, you're worth throwing up, you know what I mean? Let's say $50,000 to $100,000. They'll throw it to you. Then you go and you record at the studio on that dime. Then you, you shoot your videos on that dime. Now you've spent $250,000. You only got 100,000 up front, and now you're in debt to the studio, and they don't even make that money back on your album. Now, who owns you?
Yeah, I agree. Grace goes up and says, Grace says Oliver Anthony turned down $8 million. Wow.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard too. I heard he turned it down. That's beautiful.
Good for him.
Wow.
That's tough, dude. $8 million.
100%. That's money.
Invest.
That's life-changing.
Yeah, you can invest and make literally generational wealth out of that.
Absolutely.
Easily.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a worry. So Dan comes back and says, I love your talk, Swag. At the end of the day, it all comes back to the first chapter of Genesis.
Amen, bro. Talk to me, baby.
After their kids to feed, after their kinds to feed us.
Yep.
You can also trace the roots of all worldly government to Babylon.
Yep.
Rebellion through food independence has scriptural support. Look at that.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm a believer in God, like obviously saved without God's grace. You know what I mean? I love that because truly God is the original. Jesus was like the original rebel. So I'm a big fan. You know what I mean? When it came time to not saying what everybody said not to say, he said it anyways, and they killed him for it. I think that was pretty badass in my opinion.
Let me grab a super chat. By the way, guys, if you want to super chat me, if you happen to be on Larry Sharpe YouTube, you may if you like. I take all super chats. This one's off topic, but because super chat, I'll take it. Fountainhead Forum, thank you for the $5, says the Fountainhead Forum has 23 shows talking about Javier Milei. Is it Milei, right? This is the most important election in the history of the world. It is, and I'll be doing a show on it Wednesday evening. So
that's
I will
the
be
new president, right?
New president of Argentina.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll be doing a show on it. I don't want to jump on it right away because I want it to kind of sink in, and everyone else is doing it. I'll do a bit later, and I will do it. It's important. I promise you I'll do a show on it, and I will give you my take on it and what we should do, which is the more important piece. I will cover that on Wednesday. Tomorrow I have a Tuesdays with Kathy show talking about how bad my governor is, and then Wednesday, for those there was a book called Tuesdays with Maury. It's a famous book from several years ago. And I do Tuesdays with Kathy, who is my governor, and Queen Kathy. Oh, hallowed be her name, first of her name. Anyway, so yes, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. But the part that I wanted to bring up here, though, that you're talking about is there are going to be people who don't take it, right? Who say, I'm not going to take the $250,000 or the $8 million or whatever, right? And then the other thing, there's people now who are purposefully trying to be that guy.
Yeah.
Right. So now,
trying to be like the Oliver Anthony. Is that what you're saying? 100%. The gimmick rapper and gimmick artist come right out the woodwork. It's so crazy. Oh, yep.
So now
there's a couple like that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, no shade, but Tom McDonald has always struck me that way because he's always rapping about America. I'm like, dude, you're freaking Canadian. Like, it's just
I weirdly like Tom only for the reason because he does say the things that like I believe in. So like I all the rest of it, I just throw it out the window. I'm like, okay, he's all right in my book because he says stuff I like. You know what I mean? Because but at the same time, I don't listen to his music.
There's a difference, though. Hold on, it's a difference.
It's just too drilly into your head.
You like? I'm okay with that because that means he's going to his audience. That's fine with. What I'm worried about is he's saying what the establishment likes, hoping that he gets his $8 million deal. That is my concern, right? If you're pitching to your audience, good. That's what you should do. Yeah. Right? I don't have any problem with that at all. Yeah. And hopefully your audience will reward you. My worry is he's saying, what's going to get the big boys to get me my check so I can sell out? And because of that, he's only going to say what he thinks, whatever this side says or that side says, or the establishment says okay, or whatever. And then all of a sudden now we got a bunch of people trying to make that happen. Yes. That's my other worry.
What I've noticed from like my small little bit of time in like the industry, I guess you could say, is the people who do who are the guy for the other side, the side that I'm not a big fan of. You know what I mean? The people who get chosen as the guy for them, the labeled guys who are like, one day they're not even there, the next day they are the thing.
Yes.
They are, they're not, I don't believe truly that they've been independently grinding, such as me or Tom or smaller artists. I think they're really selected. And their perfect image is like, oh, look at this guy. He can sell the image, but he'll do anything I tell him for this check.
Yes.
And they do it. And when it comes to 8 million, 10 million, and all I care about is a big chain and a car, you bet your ass I'm signing that contract. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. If you have no morals, no belief, no faith in any God or anything in the world, you will sign your life away for just a few dollars. It's just a piece of paper.
They can watch all of the people fall.
Yeah.
And they will still do it. They watch people
It pays
fall.
them more. Yeah, it pays them even more.
And they still do it.
Oh, it's so sad to watch darkness just completely create more darkness. I'm a big believer in spreading light to the music.
Ones, right? They
the
grab
first ones to hear them. Easily moldable. They're easily moldable. They're fresh minds. They're looking for someone to look up to. And who's looking harder than a young kid without a dad? For someone to look up to, you know what I mean? Like my dad was there later on when I grew up, but like he wasn't there when I was a kid. And I didn't really have I had a good stepdad, but I didn't have really like a father figure that I called dad. You know what I mean? I looked to those artists.
I joined the Marine Corps and I remember, I tell a story often. My father died when I was 12.
Yeah.
And I always tell people all the time, I say, if you want to motivate a young man, you have to have an older male that he respects say, well done.
Yeah. You want
that is all a younger male wants is an older male that he respects say, well done.
You nailed it.
Male will do almost anything just to get the man he respects to go, good job. Anything. So I'm 17 years old and I was going to join the army because my father was in the army. True story. So I'm going to go join the army because my dad was in the army. I'm going to go join the army. But in that recruiting station, there's all four, of the services there, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps. So I go to the army place and the guy's like, yes, no worries. You're going to be a general in 3 weeks. And you're going to be traveling the world, meeting all hot women. You're going to get a PhD by next month. It's going to be great. Everything's awesome. It's great. Gives me all this stuff. I'm all excited. I'm 17. I'm excited. I come outside. I got the bumper sticker says go Army, right? I got the book cover. I'm still in high school. So I got the book cover. I'm going to put it on. I'm excited. I walk outside. Outside, I see the Marine Corps recruiter. Standing there like this.
Like a badass. Like a straight up badass.
Absolutely. Short sleeve shirt, biceps popping. Like this. Yep, like that. And he goes, hey, son. I said, yeah. He goes, talk to you for a second? I said, sure. And I thought to myself, he can't get me. I'm smarter than this guy. I thought I'm the smartest kid in the world. That's what I thought. So I go inside and he says, that army guy. He said, he offered you a lot? I said, yeah, I'm going to be a general in 3 weeks. And we traveling. I tell him all the good stuff I'm going to get, right? He goes, you know what we call that? I said, what? He said, we call that the solar plan. Everything under the sun.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what I'm going to offer you? I said, what? He said, 4 hard years. Are you ready? I said, yes. And I signed up right there.
Yep.
True story.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I didn't know why I did that then.
No.
I look back now and it's so obvious. I was desperately searching for positive male role models.
Yeah.
I wanted strong
and he looked strong, like someone you'd want to be like when you got 100%. Older. You see that man, you're like, I want to be strong like him. I want to lead like him. I get that.
100%.
Man. Yeah.
I was like, yes. He could have told me anything. I'm like, yes.
I would have signed that paper.
Who we killing? We killing these people? Okay.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Bring me where we're going. Yep.
Yep. I would have done it. And I completely agree. That really turned my whole mindset around. So I
found older men in like the drug community or like in like maybe like the gang community in jail. When I got locked up, I didn't really know much except for what media told me. So I did what the gangsters talked about doing, and I clicked up with a group of people, and that was probably, besides heroin, that was probably the worst decision of my life. You know what I mean? Like I dread things I've made back then. Oh my God. But that is the worst decision of my life is hanging out with the wrong group of people. You know what I mean? And being a person, I know I'm not.
When you don't have the positive male role model, that is what young men do.
And those men, the older men, were telling me I was doing the right thing. They were saying, oh yeah, go smash that dude in the cell. You're being a good kid. No, I'm not. I'm an evil human being, bro. Don't support that.
Yep.
You know, and I was confused and young when I was locked up. I went in at 17, turning 18. So
here's my other issue, and I go back to what we were talking about earlier. So now what we have in America is, to your point, Olivia, a bunch of young women who are becoming single moms, right? Because they don't need no man. So they're becoming single moms, or becoming models with nobody in their life except people who they think love them through.
Basically, they're pimp. I mean, we're seeing so many young women let their boyfriends, their boyfriends or husbands, whatever, baby daddies, manage their OnlyFans, manage their Instagram. I'm like, that's your pimp. That is your pimp. If he really loved you, he would not be posting you like that and putting you in
he wouldn't want a woman
risky positions.
Yeah,
so
he
really don't love you like that. But I wanted to say just quickly, I wanted to emphasize like how important the positive male role model is in the female's life as well, because of course we've seen what happens when boys are raised without fathers. They turn into gang banging, violence, drugs, alcohol. They just don't have anyone to look to. I see a lot of risky behaviors being taken by women as well, and I'm very self-aware about this. And like Larry, you joke like I'm your adopted kid, There's a lot of, and in the most innocent, well-meaning way possible, like don't get any weird ideas, people in the chat, but like I feel like I have a large amount of male role models in my life that I've either met through wrestling and politics, because those are like my two passions, and I started wrestling when I was on an all boys team in high school. So like the older kids or the wrestling coach was like a big influence on my life. But I'm very self-aware that like I have like all these adopted granddads, because I've been estranged from my father for years at this point, for other reasons that I'm not going to talk shit about my dad on the podcast, but I haven't seen my father in years. He's still out there. He's still alive. I'm grateful that I had one during my adolescence, because it could have been worse. My stance is it could have been a lot worse, right? But I still, even as an adult, I think crave and need mentorship from both sexes. I still have my mom in my life. She's very much in my life, so she kind of fills that void, I guess. But in terms of having positive male mentorship, I have people like Larry. I have people like Spike Cohen. That's my other dad. That's my other meme dad.
All the way.
Because people actually think that he's my father, by the way. People think so cool. Think that Larry is my father when we're together, because
I believed it when he said it. I believed it.
Exactly. Yes.
I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. And then when people see me and Spike and Tasha, his wife, together, people are like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I could stand next to any interracial couple and look like their child. So that it just kind of is what it is. But, and on a real note, that is something that I extremely value that like deeply in my life. I'm not going to make you cry, Larry. I'm sorry. But I do appreciate that, because I just applied to a job like a couple months ago. You know who I called to give a recommendation to the job was Larry.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
He texted me a couple weeks later. He's like, "Did you get the job?" I was like, "I didn't hear anything back yet." He was like, "Okay, I'm so sorry." And then I got it. And I went to text Larry, "Thank you," because he was one of the people that gave a recommendation. So
that's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah, my wife's got really cool people like that in her life. Yes. She's lost her both of her parents, my wife. So she's like, she's got like this guy she worked with. She does construction and stuff. She does like, well, she used to. Now she works with me, on the music and stuff. But she had this guy, and he was like such a good role model and such a good partner for her to have at work. And it's just like really nice, because when she lost her dad, was like at the lowest point of her life, and then both of her parents passed away, and she never really got to like speak with them again, and she really wanted to. So it was really tough for her losing a dad, but I'm just like really happy that she was raised by him, because she is a rock, dude.
It does matter. It does matter.
And the reason why I chose
the other part too, though, and you made another valid point. I want to be clear. I say lack of fathers because that's the most common thing, but mothers of course also matter, right? I want to make sure, but I didn't say mothers because mothers tend to be the one that's there.
They tend to stay.
Yes, correct. They tend to be there. So that's why I want to be clear. Both are important. The dad tends to not be. That's why I brought the dad. Clearly,
good thing you said that, because you're going to have women picketing outside your house.
I can only hope. I need the attention. I need the attention. I'll take any of it. Yes.
But we
Absolutely.
need those women who are raised by that strong male figure for the next generation. We need them
Correct.
women. Like that's why I was just gonna say, my wife, it's the reason I chose her. Because I had every different flavor of women, and they were all basically the same, and they all looked the same, smelt the same, and did the same thing. My girl, when I said something to her that I would usually say around these other women, she would look at me and be like, screw you, I'm not into that. She would literally tell me how she felt. I'd play a certain song. She was like, that's trash. Instead of just being like every other girl who wanted to get with me and be like, that's my favorite song, I love you forever. She told me how it was. Her dad raised her to tell people how she really felt. She looked at my 50-year-old Marine dad and said, fluoride's poisoning you. And he's like, no, it's not. And she's like, that's a lie. And he was like, and I was like, I love you. You are my wife. Tell him what's up. Yeah, she's the toughest nails, man.
Let me go to one more piece if I could. Before I go there, let me just reinforce if I could. Talk to the audience. Guys, like this. If you like it, I know you like it because you're watching it. So I know you like it. So click the like button. If you're not, I don't know what you're doing. Click that button. It does matter. Also, please, if you're watching on Twitter, you can always retweet this. It always makes it better for us all. If you are happy to be watching it on YouTube, you can always super chat if you want to. Of course, follow these people who are doing everything for us. Everything for them on Instagram and on Twitter right there at the bottom of your screen. You can also go to either YouTube or Facebook and see all their stuff. I put all their stuff there. You can check them out. Check out their websites. Check out their Spotifys. All those things is all there. Please enjoy. The piece I want to bring up now, though, is all of this. And maybe I'm being conspiracy here, right? I know I'm in the right room.
Go ahead.
Just saying, maybe I'm being conspiracy here. I know I'm in the right room. But all I'm saying is this all just distraction, right? Is this all just a form of distract? I'm going to be mad at this. This person said the thing, and we got to be mad because they said this thing, or they posted this thing, or they tweeted that thing. Let's all be mad and up in arms so that we're not about the problems that we're really having. Is this just distraction?
Especially in our politics, like this stuff they pass under our nose when we're just focusing on like what's happening with even Elon Musk. You know what I mean? When we're all focused on what Elon posted on Twitter, no, I don't know anything about the guy. He could be like a superhero or he could be a super villain. What do I know? I'm a rapper from Maine, dude. But when he posts something on Twitter, it's on the news and everybody's talking about it. He said something crazy to this politician. Who cares, dude? I care about like these 5 million page bills that they're passing that are letting these criminal old men stay in these friggin' halls and make it so that we can't even sell plants in the, you know what I mean, in our states. Like we can't even like own guns in certain states legally. People are getting their gun rights stripped.
I can't drink raw milk in my own state.
That's crazy. I only drink and consume raw dairy. I only consume raw dairy. That's sad, man. I feel bad for you.
Some people don't like it. Okay. Yeah. Why are you stopping others? Let people drink what they want to drink. I'm not worried about Elon Musk or some war in Europe or whatever. I'm worried about me being able to eat and drink what I want to drink in my own house.
Bro, it's very important that like the dairy too, like that we consume is in its rawest form, man. It's very important.
Cozy, go ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely about control, right? So they give you your leaders. They give you like the Elon is the smart guy. You know, this is Fauci's your scientist. Like this is your teacher. This is your rapper. This is your Republican. This is your Democrat. So
your idol.
Then you can fill so that gets channeled. So like you don't have a chance to bring another character or your own creativity to top that. So this is the smart guy. Why? I can't be smart. He's the only one who's getting airtime.
He's got all the answers
all the time. Whether it's social media or mainstream media, always concentrating the camera. It's not reality. It's just a reality they created. But the reality is there's probably geniuses out there that are way smarter than Elon.
Beyond.
And all these characters that they're bringing. Oh, this is your choice, Trump or Biden. You know what I mean? These are your only choices.
There are puppet faces. That's all we get. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there's, like you said, the smart guy. The puppet face would be our Elon Musk. And he's only smart. Why? Because he's shooting rockets in his space. He has a lot of money. And he sells cars and stuff. You know what I mean? So
they fund these people. Oh, this is the best rapper. He's the top rapper. Who says who? Says
Yeah,
who?
it says who? Because half the
You know what I
time
mean?
they're talentless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying I'm better than them. But I've seen some incredible artists in this industry that are bigger than me, you know, but very small. But man, these kids should be,
Social, yeah.
you know,
It's social engineering at the end of the day.
100%.
Social engineering, how you control
Yeah.
the masses. And
Everything in every corner, in every
everything.
corner.
Let me get Olivia in here if I can. Olivia, you are part of some of that media. So am I. I am out there, you know, out there doing some of this stuff too. Is it all distraction?
I would say it's a mixture of distraction and a kind of, I guess, a call to action and manipulation. So part of it is just to get your mind off of. Part of it is just to get your mind off of whatever is really going on. So MTG, who, you know, she has her moments. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene definitely has her moments, but she constantly makes a big deal of passing like these really symbolic bills through Congress. So she sponsored this bill to reduce Pete Buttigieg's salary to $1. It passed the House. The House is Republican controlled. So that made a great headline. I wrote about it. It was like such like, you know, this, oh, it's so funny that this happened in Congress. Meanwhile, they're passing every single bill to increase spending. They're passing every single bill to increase the deficit. So it's like we have a lot of America First Republicans and libertarians and things like that who, you know, we got this win. But it's like, did we though? Because that's not going to pass the Senate. The Democrats, Democrat controlled. And we're just kind of wasting time here. And I'm not saying I like Pete Buttigieg. He should be fired. The Department of Transportation shouldn't even exist. Okay. But spending House hours debating over whether he should be paid a dollar. Well, we
that's
both know
not what we
that's
should
not
be
going to pass the
wasting
Senate.
time on.
It's just a little bit of a distraction. Then the other side of it is, meanwhile, you know, Rashida Tlaib is standing outside Congress yelling, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." And that was the day that Palestine pro-Palestine protesters basically had their own little January 6th insurrection in Congress. And 300 people were arrested. So that was also a distraction, but it was taking it a step further and manipulating the masses into taking part of this more massive distraction, because we all know, like, I personally think that January 6th didn't do anything. I know like a lot of people have strong feelings about, oh, we definitely should have taken the election back. Like, it didn't do anything but get y'all locked up. It exposed a lot of hypocrisy within the federal government. I don't think that those people should be locked up for years and years for just, you know, simple trespassing. But it's kind of the same type of thing where we're following this one issue, we're following this one person, and we're so riled up, and we just let it take control over us and get us to commit, you know, petty crimes. So that's also a distraction too.
This part, I like what you're bringing up, because, right, distraction, but now they're also talking about manipulation. So now I'm getting people to show up at the Capitol with the Jan 6 or whenever it is, or BLM riots or whatever the thing is. But I got people showing up, right? Yeah. On left and the right. They're showing up because the people, I don't know, whoever political people told them to show up, whoever those people are, probably.
Same with the media, their artists they follow, they say the
probably
same
FBI
stuff.
plots is my point. It's probably the FBI telling them anyway.
The
FBI
tells, because who the hell is Ray Epps? But, you know, don't get me started. But
so the FBI probably set up all this stuff. But my worry is, though, what ends up happening with that, and I bring this back, believe it or not, it's going to sound crazy, to the Vietnam War and the Tet Offensive. I bring that up because the Tet Offensive, those of you who don't know, the Tet Offensive was 1968. When it happened, every single agent from South Vietnam, who was a North Vietnam agent, came out and attacked. It was a massive attack. And what actually happened was, in the long run, the Marines won, America won the battle overall, right? But then Americans stopped supporting the war. That was the end of support for the war. And that's why we lost the war. That offensive is what made us politically lose the war. We won almost every battle, but we lost the war because Americans stopped doing it. But what also happened there, people don't realize, if we had kept fighting, we probably would have won. Because all of the spies that were in South Korea and all of the people who would have turned on us came out. Every time we do this, the federal government knows who would actually turn on them. So the federal government sets it up and then knows these are the people who would turn on us. These are the people
we're the bad guys.
These are the people who turn the right. Now we know who to take care of. To your point, Olivia, who to put in jail, who to give a criminal record to, who to call a criminal bad guy, so that when they do something, we can arrest them. So now
Who
when
to
we
call
do
to
bad
turn
stuff,
in those guys? They know who to call to turn them in. That's who I
Yes.
don't keep in my circle. That's why I
Bingo.
stay alone. Small circle, because you let these people in who might think that, oh, it's not a big deal to let these small things like vaccines be forced on us. No big deal. Well, those are the guys that when they're looking for me because I'm rebellious and I'm revolting against the government, those are the people going to tell on me and give me away to the government and put. I'm going to get the star on my chest like they did back in the day, man. I know how they did it.
Someone told me, they asked me, said, Larry, aren't you afraid with all these mandates that one day there's going to be like white cars that come by and go, you're infected or whatever, and they're going to grab you and put you in the back of the van? I said, I'm not scared of them. I said, why? I'm scared of my neighbor who's going to call them on me.
Yeah, 100%.
That's who I'm scared of, not them. Because there's more of us than them.
I'm scared of that homie I thought was my best friend, and he's like, nah, dude, he didn't get the shot, dude.
And that happened in Australia. People forget that Australia literally had internment camps and quarantine camps. Where people ratted out their neighbor if they came back from a trip. Hey, did you get tested for COVID? They'd come by and take you to an encampment with trailers filled row by row, and they'd assign you one for your quarantine. People forget that ever happened. It's not beyond.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember that when during De Blasio came out with an app and he was telling people to to rat on people like on the trains, not following COVID orders? It's like to rat them out, and then the next day, he releases the app and people are sending pictures of their
obviously.
Meanwhile, his daughter and he had rioting with Black Lives Matter the whole time.
And he had to shut the app. Yeah, they shut down the app because they're like people were sending pictures of their ding dongs.
Well, if you give them the chance to do it, they're gonna do it.
So, guys, I do want to take a bunch more comments. Before I take more comments, I want to ask you guys individually, please tell us what you're doing. What's going on in your life? Give us something to grab onto for the people who are watching. I got like 4 or 5 more comments I do want to grab, but before I go there, Cameron, tell us, what are you doing? What's going on? What should they be looking for?
I got some cool stuff going on. I got a bunch of new music I'm working on, but in December 8th, I am dropping a song. It's going to be a dope video with Crypt. He's another YouTube artist. He's a lot larger than me, but a good, humble dude, and I really enjoy his presence. We're dropping a song and a video. It's called Way Out, but that's really it. That's all I'm doing. I just had Thanksgiving, dude. I just had an early Thanksgiving. That's how much of a rebel I am. I do it on a different day.
You fight against Thanksgiving.
I do it a different day.
I love it. Cozy, tell us, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, you can go stream my music. Go to Spotify, Cozy19, or any platform, Cozy19, and you'll find my music. But besides that, I just want to, breaking news yesterday, something that I want everybody to listen to. So I don't know if you guys know about the quarantine regulation that Kathy Hochul put out. She got defeated in court by Bobby Ann Cox, which is an amazing lawyer. And she just told us that basically she lost the case now. So now basically the quarantine regulation is in effect. They don't need proof of you being sick. They don't need proof of anything. They can just accuse you of being contagious and just grab you, put you in any facility they want to. So I want everybody out there to know that, to spread that out there. And there will be, action plans coming soon, but basically just let people know what's happening because this is not okay.
Yep.
Oh, no. Amen.
Absolutely. This will have to go to the Supreme Court because everything goes.
Stay tuned. Follow me at Kozis Wellness on Instagram, Kozis Wellness, and I'll keep you guys updated with that. We need all hands on deck. We're gonna stop these tyrants.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Olivia, tell us what you're doing.
So I have been reporting with Breitbart for a month and a half now. My beat, I cover a lot of crime, so I expose a lot of predator teachers, groomers within the education system, within academia. A lot of these professors are pushing certain narratives and getting in trouble for and targeting conservative students. So I write a lot about that. I write about Chinese influence, especially with California and Gavin Newsom specifically. And I cover a lot of local news and just corruption happening everywhere. So I encourage people to go to my author page at Breitbart and check out some of my stuff. I cover news 6 days a week. So I have I mean, I've been there for like 6 weeks and I have like 150 articles already. So we're going strong.
Nice.
I'm still with the Foundation of Economic Education, which is fee based out of Atlanta. So I go down there and I do my podcast. I have a weekly podcast called Undoctrination. My co-host is Maggie Anders. She's Liberty Anders on Twitter. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Rondeau Olivia. That's how you spell my last name, Rondeau, then Livia.
Nice.
There we go. Oh, good. Let me grab a couple of these. Andrew, you have a fan. I'm sorry. Cameron, you have a fan. Andrew says, "Great work, Swag."
Hey, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you, dog.
There we go. There we go. Also, Mike agrees. Mike Voss says, "No distraction, subliminal reinforcement of the targeted messages meant to divide and minimize each group and type." I think he's right.
That's
right on the head. Right on the head. Yeah,
well said.
Absolutely, 100%. So let me grab a couple more of these if I could. Joe says Ray Epps isn't real. So sorry, he isn't real.
He's a figment of our imaginations. Maybe Ray Epps was the friends we made along the way. I think that
I thought this guy followed me because I posted. I said, "Hey, I'm going on Larry Sharpe." That guy just followed me today. You're the best, Joe.
There we go. I love it. Grace says the government lost Vietnam, not the troops. Agreed.
Yeah.
100% true. She's exactly right. Grace, you're exactly correct. Absolutely. Dan says, one could say your libertarianism is accumulated wisdom. My time as a government employee has tuned my ear to libertarianism. I always say if people knew how government really operated, they would not want them to solve their problems. Yeah, nice. I think Dan's right. I would agree with that. 100%. Absolutely. So, yes. So, let's see if I can grab this. Grace says, oh, we have experienced that in my subdivision, political signs in windows, lefties having meetings. We have to threaten neighbors with legal action. I think what it means is, this is my other issue that he just brings up, right? Is there is a divide politically that now has shifted into everyday life, right? Divide has shifted into, we date based upon left-right paradigm. We hang out based upon left-right paradigm. You know, we don't
100%.
Thanksgiving with that widow. Oh, that's the uncle who likes Trump, or that's the uncle who likes Biden. I don't want to be with that guy, right? So, like, we even do that. It seems
crazy to
me that was so much that way. And again, it's not like the leaders don't know this. Like, everybody knows it's happening.
We're not blind. None of us are blind, and we're all adults, human beings who are conscious and awake. So I truly believe that if we are like awake at the moment, we are not fast asleep in our beds, we all can be aware to what is clearly going on in front of us. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
This distraction scares me. And the worst part is I look at the Gen Zers.
Yeah.
Right. And when I see them, I feel like they are already all in on this.
They're also right? Because it's the cool kids. To be the cool kid in school now, you have to be in that group. That's just what I've heard from like the teens I know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids that follow me all over the world that talk to me. And I have this kid who's 16 and he tells me what he's learning on TikTok. And I just tell him, you got to delete that app, kid. He's a really good kid. You know what I mean? His mom has raised him so good. So I played video games with him. That's how I met him. But man, these kids got it the worst, dude.
And that's my word, because I feel like if you take a lot of Gen Z TikTokers or a lot of Gen Z YouTubers or Twitch streamers, many of them have picked their side, whatever that side is. I think most of the young ones lean more left than right, but you find some right-leaning ones too. I think more lean left than right. And I think they just say their side is the right side. And the worst part about it, this is what that bothers me more than anything else, and why I like doing shows like this and other things that I do, because most people aren't actually Republicans or Democrats.
No.
Most people don't believe everything the Democrats tell them to believe or anything the Republicans tell them to believe. Most people take a little of this and a little of that, right? That's most people. They take a little bit of each. Most do. But you can't say the part that you don't agree with, because then you're not part of the cool kids anymore, right?
Then you're not in their group.
Cool kids say you have to believe all of these things.
The whole list. They can't lean anywhere off of it. You got to have the whole list, bro.
Correct.
100%.
But that's how they box you. They learn how to box you and keep you polarized. You know?
Yes. that keeps us from growing as humans in general. Like, how are we ever supposed to become something that's never happened before if the only thing to become is what's in the left box or the right box, man? How do we bring libertarians up if there's no way? It's
and before that, right, there was a point where maybe it happened 2016. I don't know. I'm thinking around that time where we become hyper polarized, where we can't even talk to each other anymore. It's like you're either in this box or don't fucking talk to me.
Dude, 100%. I realized that because I just started noticing politics because I was a kid, dude. I was enjoying my life, finally got clean. Politics didn't exist. Trump, Biden didn't even know anything. Then I had this friend who was a very close friend at the time who I worked with every night at the hotel, and he was left-leaning, and he was telling me about these upcoming elections and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't pay attention to that stuff. It don't matter. And he was like, well, you have to. It's very important. You have to. So I'm like, okay, well, if I have to, then where am I supposed to get my information? And he pointed me to some news stations. And this is where my wife came in, where she said, oh, we wouldn't listen to what they say on those news stations. I was like, oh, why is that? She's like, well, they're just telling us this propaganda. And these people, like, they might say this stuff we believe in, cool and stuff, but they're also pushing propaganda too. So she was like, we wouldn't watch the news. Like, we see what's going on, we'll make our own belief system. And that's how we kind of stumbled across libertarian. So
I love that. So, but while I love that, I wish more people would listen to more types.
Yes.
Right? Sadly, I think while mainstream media is kind of dying, but the talking heads, my worry is like I do a show on Thursdays, and I do Thursdays at noon, and then this Monday at 9. When I bring anybody on, right? This is in theory a libertarian show, but Olivia knows it's not really. It's a show where people talk, and it happens to be a libertarian host. That's really what it is. It's just a libertarian host, but like all types of people talk on this show. And the thing you'll notice is in the chat, when you look at the chat later on, the chat isn't aggressively attacking anybody.
Everybody's just like accepting, and they have their own thoughts to add to it. That's community right there. Like we're allowed to not believe the same thing and still like each other.
100%.
And who's to say
Dan agrees with you, by the way?
You know,
Cozy, Dan agrees with you. He says, Cozy, I think you're right. 2016 was the dividing line. I lean right, and I miss Obama supporters. There used to be an intellectual component to our banter. That all ended in 2016. Wow.
Yeah, now it's just childish. Now it's just yelling at each other. It's disgusting. And like I said, I didn't know about politics, and now that I do, I just sit back and watch these people yell at each other and hate each other. And I'm like, wow, dude, you guys are sick over these random puppets.
But there's another piece here, though, that I want to add, and that is there are people who just want rebels. And to be forward, I think we've actually wanted rebels from 2008. We got one in 2016. People thought Obama was a rebel. That's why they voted for him.
Yeah, they thought he was going to be that guy.
He's not. He's established completely. But I'm saying they all thought that he was the rebel. That's why they rushed to him. They were like, oh my God, this guy's different. He's a rebel. Let's get him. They realized he's not a rebel. And then the Republicans put up the most established person they could possibly put up in 2012, like Mr. Establishment. So Obama wins again. So 2016, Democrats put up the most established person they could possibly find. Then here comes Bernie. And Bernie was going to beat the established person in the Democratic Party. But the Democratic establishment was so tough that they actually broke Bernie.
Yeah, well, you can't win against one of them two. You know what I mean? No one's going to win against them.
It should have been rebel against rebel. It should have been Bernie Trump, which is rebel against rebel.
That would have been
what we wanted.
Complete opposites fighting against each other. Yeah.
That is what we wanted anti-establishment. How do I know this? The guy who became my marketing chief in my 2018 campaign came from the Bernie campaign. And I'm like, why would someone come from the Bernie campaign, almost socialist, come to a libertarian governor's? What? It wasn't because of that. He didn't care. He just wanted a rebel. He saw Bernie as a rebel. That's why he liked Bernie. He couldn't tell you any of Bernie's policies. He was like, he's not Hillary. Good. I want Bernie. That's basically what he was saying. They got rid of Bernie. He said, where do I go? He went to Trump. And you say, how can someone go from Bernie to Trump? Their politics are the same. He saw Bernie as a rebel. He saw Trump as a rebel.
Yeah, Trump was the guy that he was like the bad guy.
Was not the establishment.
Yeah.
And I think we still want that. I think
it would be beautiful. It would be beautiful to get something to go against the grain. It'd be awesome to see it. I just don't think the people who actually get up and actually go to the polls want anything else besides those two. The people I think there's a lot of people like me still in this time where like I've never voted except for once for like my in-state elections for a Republican, but that I didn't get the person I wanted in the placement I wanted or anything, but like I never voted because I never saw any improvement in what I was already watching. So that's why I never got pulled towards politics, because it never showed me anything cool or different or new. It's
so
left or right.
Let me give you the last piece if I could.
Yeah.
The last piece before I wrap this up. Last question I have. There's about 7 million young men who have checked out of America. Just kind of checked out. They spend all their time on screens. They're not voting.
They're completely absent. Yeah.
And more people are checking independent or not voting. All of that's happening too, right? They're all walking away. My worry is this is all distraction. And there's going to be some leader who walks up and says, now is the time, my dogs of war. Now is the time, my lost young men. Come to me. And now I will take over and do my bidding. And these young men who are, to our earlier point, desperate for mission.
For someone to look up.
For a person. To your point, Cameron, desperate for someone to look up to. Here comes this guy who goes, I'm the one.
Saying all the right things.
Saying all the right things. That is one of my bigger worries. Am I being conspiracy, or is it
they just got us all to do it? You know what I mean?
That's how it works.
Yeah, they just got us all to jam shots in us. You know what I mean?
Cozy,
Took one guy. You go, Cozy.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that's exactly how it works. What you just described was every revolution, right? Or every, you know what I mean? Like a Hitler, or like, he was, saying all these bad things about, foreigners or whatever, you know what I mean? A certain group of people. And then people believed it and said, they're the reasons why, this country's falling apart. It's always that story, that narrative throughout centuries,
It's very convenient to let them do everything. It's very convenient. It's very easy. And that is what we as humans fall to no matter what. It's easy when it gets cold to put on a coat. All right. But we're also, as humans, like completely adaptable and able to deal with different degrees.
Right. Oh, we lost him.
We're not meant to live in a box. But
so Olivia, you're in that world more. You see a lot of these young men. What do you think? Am I wrong here? Am I crazy?
No, I think you're right. And I think it's based off of the fact that we've already seen it happen to women. Women are so young, college educated women, people in my peer group, people like myself are so radicalized because we see higher voter turnout. Women have more college degrees than men. They're more educated than men. But obviously that doesn't mean they're smarter. That means they've been put more through kind of academic indoctrination cycle. And so what we see is all these far left socialists, like everyone, all the squad people, all their fans, pretty much all their fans are women or very feminine, beta, soy ridden males.
Yes.
So it's a group of people who have been pumped full of birth control and SSRIs, being sold these crazy lies that, Trump is Hitler, Trump is a fascist, and every man like him is a white supremacist, Nazi, fascist, and you're just better off isolating yourself from them and hating them with, it causes people to cut off their family members and to cut off friends. And we have this group of very young, angry women who are the ones breaking into the Capitol when Rashida Tlaib says, from the river to the sea. We have these very angry young women. You see all these videos of people ripping down the posters of people who were kidnapped by Hamas. It's all like young white women. It's all young women who are just angry. They couldn't even tell you why they're angry, but they don't angry, even know. Radicalized.
And super, like you said, it's super unstable, right?
They're super mentally unstable.
Because of those chemicals.
They're not healthy. They're constantly in therapy, constantly being pumped full of chemicals. And that's not
Their
to say that
hormones are all messed
that's not
up.
to say that nobody needs that. But for like millions upon millions of women to be on that, it is not good. It is not indicative of a healthy, high trust society. And so what's happening with men is, you know, the dating pool has shrunken a lot because a lot of these women are a little bit crazy, and a lot of these men have been raised by with no fathers, so they're checking out. They're not masculine. They're not like the alpha male, but they, you know,
family structure's been destroyed as well, so it's easy to say no to it. Like, screw that.
They feel very left out, but all it takes is some like alpha, red pill, whatever figure to kind of rally all these people together. But none of them has kind of ran for office yet. So once we see the first Andrew Tate run for president, I think we're going to mobilize like a lot of really unhealthy, mentally unstable young men to kind of do the same thing that mentally unstable women are already doing. You know, the slut walks and the feminist pride parades. We're going to see a lot of men do like whatever their male equivalent is.
Whatever their male version is.
I'm scared to see it. I'm scared to see it. The females are already bad enough, but it's already happened with women.
I'm going to do one thing that does make me upset, and it's going to sound silly, but I think you'll get what I'm talking about. It is RFK's family. Why do I say that? I get a lot of people don't like RFK. I get that.
I'm not a big fan. I don't know why.
I get it. I'm not mad, but my point is, if my daughter all of a sudden decided to run for office, and she said, I'm a socialist and the government's awesome and everyone should mandate everything and government should mandate everything, I would hate that. And I would tell her privately, she's insane. What's happened? Who are you? Why are you in my house? Right. But publicly, you know what I would do? Nothing. She's my daughter. I would shut up. I would say she's my family. I would just shut up publicly.
You let her be her, and whatever that is, what it is. You're going to be you at the same time, and that's it.
The point is, we would be politically against each other.
Yeah.
She's my daughter.
Yeah.
So
but devil's advocate.
Say nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. But let's play devil's advocate, right? What if a reporter comes up to you, hey, Larry, you know, you're a libertarian. How do you feel about your daughter's, you know, campaign?
I would literally say, she is my daughter. She has her own views, and I love her. That's my statement.
That's a good comment to run away on.
That's my statement.
Or you could be like, I disagree with her policies, but like, I love her as a human being.
Absolutely.
You know,
She's my
that
daughter.
shows that it's possible to do that too, you know?
Correct.
Yes, but RFK's family is openly, aggressively attacked. And I'm like, that's your family.
Are they? I didn't even know that.
You have allowed politics to break up your family.
Your whole family. Yeah.
Why would you let politics break up your family?
I love that about mine, because my family's not very political, but they're all vaccinated. They're all super left leaning. They just don't know they are, because they don't follow politics, but that's where they sit. And I still dwell with them, and I love my family, but we're 100%. Polar opposites. You know what I mean? And that's it. It is what it is.
That is my point about now talking heads. And this is my worry about children. This goes to the youngsters. When the youngsters trust their Gen Z talking head more than their parents.
100%.
Then they think the talking head Gen Z YouTuber, Twitch streamer is their friend. He or she is not.
Yeah,
but
don't
they
even
feel
care
like
about
the person's their friend. And they're going to turn on their family to make some YouTuber happy. This is my other worry.
Them doing it all the time on TikTok. Now they're with like a lot of the gender stuff that's going on, and it's a very touchy subject, and like not affirming your child and stuff like that. And I know that's very difficult to even open that door. But if you look at it, they're learning most of this stuff from TikTok. You know what I mean? Or their other friends who are at school who learned it from TikTok. So they're now doing these things, and then their parents are like, hey, I'm old school conservative. You know, this is weird to me. I'm sorry for saying it out loud, but whether you're my son or whatever or not, it's just a little bit different for me. They're at fault now because their child was manipulated by some person on TikTok who's only doing something because of the food and the water and the stuff they consume. Now their mind is lost and they're doing certain things or whatever, and now they're manipulating the child who's watching their videos.
They spend 6 or 8 hours a day watching the same 2 or 3 TikTokers / 2 or 3 Twitch streamers / 2 or 3 YouTubers, whatever is their thing. And they spend 20 minutes talking to their mom or their dad.
Yeah, no, that's rough.
Yeah, of course you believe a TikToker. You listen to TikToker 6 hours a day.
Yeah, majority wins no matter what. And that, no matter what, the majority of what you consume, what you spend your time thinking about, you will become that and you will be there.
And eventually now, the sad part about our country is that will eventually become law.
Yeah.
That is my biggest, scariest thing, that eventually it will become law.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothered me is, and this is a little bit, Cozy, you're going to love this. I know you are. You guys might know, but I love this part. It was about 2 weeks ago on Bill Maher. One of the guys from NYU, I forgot his name. He's some smart guy from NYU. He asked for grace and forgiveness for all the COVID things and the lockdowns and stuff. Look, we didn't know. We didn't have the information, because now they're recognizing how bad it was. Now there's no way they can deny how horrible it was.
Yeah.
So now they're saying it. And people ask me, what do you think? I said, no grace, forgiveness. And for one reason, I don't have grace. I love grace. I'm all about forgiving. I'm too forgiving. But because they didn't learn the message, the right lesson would be, the government should never have the power to force this on people ever.
No matter what.
If they had done that, I'd been like, forgiven, grace, yes.
Oh, they didn't even say that. They just said we didn't know. So
we didn't know enough. So if we knew more, then we can crush you.
Then we wouldn't.
Don't know enough yet. If we know a little bit more, then we crush you.
They were saying that the science was wrong. They were saying that the science was wrong after years of saying trust the science. They never said the government was wrong. They said, the science was wrong. Yeah. Let's go back to the drawing board. No, y'all lost your privilege to tell us what to do a long time ago.
100%.
Whenever y'all said trust the science and you weren't 100% sure. And even if the science was 100% true, let's say like they were saying like, we've lost 1% of America's population to COVID. That literally never happened. 1% of the population. We didn't have millions of people die because of COVID in 2 years. They said we lost 1% of American population. Let's say that was true. That would still never give you the right to tell me what to do, tell my neighbor what to do,
no matter what.
Turn my neighbor on me, to report me for not having a vaccine, and da 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 da.
Force you to put poison in your body.
Fake vaccine pass. I did what I had to do. But I'll never forgive these people. I don't forgive you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you think of the murder that's caused, it's crazy.
But I would forgive a murderer if they actually learned their lesson.
Yeah.
And I would even forgive a murderer if a murderer literally said, "Oh my God, I
took this person's life. Oh my God, I'm sorry. That was so wrong.
Let me try to somehow make it better." Yeah. If they'd actually said, "I should not have killed the person," I would even forgive them if they actually learned the lesson. They haven't. I know you're trying to debate. Go.
Yeah, no. I mean, when they say like, "Oh, the science wasn't there," so then how come I knew? How come you knew? How come so many people knew to avoid it?
And we're just guys, dude. We're just regular people.
It's common sense. Common sense. You bring something to the market. You rush through safety studies. You don't even test the damn thing. How do you expect? What do you think that's not going to go wrong? You're going to just inject DNA, RNA into people? Like, what do you think is going to happen? We've never seen this play out. So, of course, it's going to damage. Of course, these things you're injecting into somebody or locking people down, taking away their rights. You don't have the authority to do that. I think
it's human right to live free.
What I want to see is massive punishment. Like Fauci should be 25 to life. He should never see the day
he should be supermax in Guantanamo Bay for like. What is it? Treason, dude! Like literal treason.
Through the public square, so we could all throw tomatoes at him before he.
Whatever happened to tarring and feathering, dude? Like, let's get real, dude.
See, my real thoughts about it. Yeah, my real thoughts I won't express, but they need maximum punishment. You know what I mean? They need maximum. Like any governor who told you to lock down or forced you to wear a mask, you need jail. You need worse than that. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's how I see it. They need to be punished, and they're not. They're going to get away with it, and that's what pisses me off.
Oh, 100%. It's infuriating when you think about it because they made us do these things that were so sickening. And like I said, when I say murder, like you say, you forgive a murderer. Well, how about a murder of like, we're coming up on thousands of people who have been affected from the shots, let alone probably more. I don't know, man. Not everyone's been reported. And these people are dropping dead. And also the two men in my family, my father and my stepdad, perfectly healthy. Well, my dad, maybe not, but decently healthy men, never had any heart issues. Both had open heart surgery right after getting their vax. My stepmother as well.
All right. That's not today's show. That's a different show. I
I got
appreciate it.
excited.
Mike goes on and says, really good informed lively panel tonight. So I guess we're winning.
I like it.
Before we wrap this up again, please like, comment, and share. I say all the time, please do so. Guys, anything before we wrap this up? I want to wrap it up. Any final statements?
No, everybody should stay hydrated and be kind because it costs $0 to be a good person.
Yeah,
it costs $0 to be a good person. How
really
can I possibly know anything better than that? Guys, everyone, thank you so much for watching tonight. For those of you who are going to be paying attention, tomorrow I will be on my radio show at 1:05 p.m. out of Rochester, New York. 7 p.m. I'm doing a Tuesday with Kathy, and I'll be doing my special Argentina show on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I will see you all.